Hi. How's it going? I can see all your chats coming in. Woo! It's raging. How's it going? I'm Lights. I'm sitting here at Livestream with Kevin Fox on the cello. Handsome, very cool. We're gonna play some songs. I can't hear you, but you should sing. We can get lots of people singing around the world. I feel like you're here. I can see you're texting.
Maybe it's bricks and mortar now, whether or not they run it down. I don't want anything to shake that shape away. No one told us which way to come, nobody mapped oblivion. So I go growing roses in disarray, just like most falling hidden, till my ghost feels the beating. So lift it up like a banner, hold it up over me. If this war is never ending, I'll take this alive down with me like a banner, like a banner. I don't need fate to give it time. It doesn't take pain to change your mind. No weapon can sever the soul from me. Not the sorceress, not the money. Oh, my cleverness, oh, my cunning. So lift it up like a banner, hold it up over me. If this war is never ending, I take this alive down with me like a banner, like a banner. It's around me, in my surroundings, it counts me when it starts the counting in the chaos. There's a standard, I'm carrying it like a banner. It's around me, in my surroundings, it counts me when it starts the counting in the chaos. There's a standard, I'm carrying it, so lift it up like a banner, hold it up over me. If this war is never ending, I take this love down with me. Hold it up over me. If this war is never ending, I take this love down with me. And Kevin.
Okay, I see some questions coming in. Lots of them. And they're a nice big font here because everything's really organized. So let's see. Fan questions. Andrew, who would you say is your biggest influence for your songs, musically and lyrically? That comes from a lot of different places. One of them is Bjork. I'm a big Bjork fan. She's a very powerful female musician, and she has her own thing. She's her own genre, and I've always kind of been impressed by that. You know, it's like in an industry where everyone so just wants to do something like that sounds like everything else so that it has a chance. She doesn't do that, and I've always kind of respected that a lot. So she's one of them for sure. Growing up, me and my dad used to sit in the car and go on trips and listen to Supertramp and parse the music. Me and Kevin were talking about that the other day, right? We like Supertramp. And if you ever just kind of sit down and listen to their songs, there's so many parts and so many elements, and it kind of first made me excited about wanting to get into production. So there's a couple of them. One of them is my dad, because he taught me all the chords that I know. And I don't really know that many chords. I'm just guessing most of the time. Like, I really don't know what I'm playing. I just do it by ear. So thanks, Daddy, for that. Okay, next question. Coming in fast. How do you keep, this is from Rhi, R-I-H-I, Rhi. How do you keep the aura around you and your music so positive? I've never met you, and even I know it's there. Well, that's very nice. I don't know. Kevin, what do you think?
It's very true.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, Kevin's like that too. We have a good time on tour because he keeps everything really positive, and I like positivity. That might be part of it. I think part of it is liking being happy and enjoying it.
It's a choice.
It is a choice. It really is. You have to decide to approach things from a better angle and physically sit down and think about something when you're really angry and decide to move on from it. Forgiveness. Cool. Good question. Curtis Braun. I can't read people's names, so I'm just going to read them in every possible way that they're able to be read. Curtis Braun. What is your most embarrassing moment on stage? Oh. I actually don't know. I've thought about it, and most of the embarrassing moments I either block out or try to pass off to the point where they're not embarrassing anymore. I think sometimes it's just like you'll try to make a joke and nobody laughs, and that's kind of just embarrassing in the moment. I ripped the crotch of my pants on stage once. Not sure if anyone noticed. Thankfully, nothing ended up on the internet, but that was pretty embarrassing for myself. From Sarah. Sarah. How else could you? What advice could you give people that want to make music but don't know where to start? That's a broad question. I think one of the biggest things to keep in mind if you ever want success in music is to focus on songwriting. That's what people latch onto. I mean, you could be the greatest guitar player in the world, and it's going to be hard for the average bear to really cling to what you're doing. That's the way I look at it. And there's a lot of incredible musicians that do all these different things, but for me, I just love a good song. And a good song can be found in anything if you put the effort in. So no matter what genre you're doing, you can write a good song. And that's what's going to get you your start, I think. The way I look at it is the first songs that I remember remembering are the songs that are still resonating in my mind to this day, and that I'll never forget. And you can never get rid of that. It can never burn down or be thrown out because it's always going to be in your head. So that's the trick. Write some good songs, and then just put them out there, and people are going to find them. And be proud of your work. Don't put anything out you're not proud of. Alana Murchison. Will Frame and Focus Acoustic ever be released? You know, that was not even on Siberia as a full album. It was as a bonus track on iTunes. And before Siberia came out, I went to this cottage for spring break by myself. 2 years ago. And started working on all the songs that were on Siberia so that they could be interpreted acoustically. And I actually worked on a version of Frame and Focus. And I took it to a certain level, and it was really nice at first. But I think it just kind of didn't fit with everything and kind of stopped playing it, I guess. But it's good that you bring that up. I actually played it for the first time about a month ago acoustically, and I hadn't done it in a long time. And there's something special about it for sure. It's kind of like once you have so many songs out, some get put on the back burner, and then when you whip them out later, like a year later, you realize things about them that you completely forgot, you know? So thanks for that. I will consider an acoustic release sometime, maybe. I'll mess around with it. Maybe I'll play it live or something. What do you do, Ariel, what do you do to pass time on the road when touring? Usually, the the iPad has been my friend with. Well, we're on this tour in particular. We're in a van. It's just a few of us hanging out in the van, and I'm playing Angry Birds or trying to sleep. But when we're actually in the bus, I'll either take classes that I can work on in my bunk, or we usually bring the Xbox out and I bring my own hard drive, so I have Skyrim or Dead Island or whatever progress I've made on any games saved, and I can bring them out on the road. Because I've made the mistake of not bringing out my hard drive, and it was a big problem. Got like halfway through Dead Island, and I had to start over. Terrible, sad story. And spent a lot of time online working on my online community because it's amazing, and here we are talking about it. And writing. And other things. Most of the time it's filled with stuff, though, that it needs to be done. Like, there's this full schedule for each day, and I think that one of the common preconceptions about tours is that you have all kinds of spare time, but you don't. You don't really. Does my guitar have a name? Kevin. It actually was Kevin. My old guitar was named Kevin, which is really ironic. I completely forgot about that.
That's funny.
It was my first guitar, actually, but actually, I don't think this one has a name. I think I named it on my last Ustream, and it was a girl's name that started with L, and I can't remember what it was. It was like Lena, Lori. I'll consider it and then rename it at the end of the session. From Ben, saw you in Boston. That was last night. How you doing, Ben? Love the show. Smiley face. How's the tour going? How's tour acoustic different than with a full band? It's like an entirely different set of music that I'm playing, which is the really interesting thing about it. It's all the same songs, but it's entirely different. They're arranged differently. I have Kevin. It's just Kevin and myself, and so there's a lot of freedom to kind of move with the mood, and I have to burp. And, fluctuate tempos and change keys and take requests or play to the vibe of the room. It's not like a set performance, which is really fun. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking because there's nothing to fall back on. Like, it's just myself. And if I make a mistake, everyone's like, oh, that's bad. But it's good because you can just play it off. It's fun. I have a lot of fun with it. And that's how I play when I'm at home. So I enjoy it. And I'm going to play another song. I would say, tell me what you want to hear. I'm seeing some requests come in. What do you want to play?
You have no feeling?
I don't know. See, I can't see you, so I can't really tell. Because, that's our thing. We usually vibe. Okay, lots of stuff coming in. We're going to do... And lots of questions that are unrelated. Okay. Let's just do... Oh my goodness, I can't read it. It's too fast. Okay, why don't we... I just saw this one pass, in a flash. Toes.
Let's do it.
Can't tell you who said that. Oh, I saw it a couple times. Whoa, it's fast. Cool. All right, let's do Toes.
Close.
If you are a cliffhanger ending, I'm the one that doesn't know anything. Like a make by any dream, I am always going to be looking right to you. Oh, you capture my attention, carefully listening, don't wanna miss a thing, keeping my eyes on you, got me on my toes. If I were to hide out on the sea, you'd be whispering from the westerlies, in any book I'll ever read, you'd be the line that sticks out to me, out to me. Oh, you capture my attention, carefully listening, don't wanna miss a thing, keeping that's the thing, keeping my eyes on you. Oh, you capture my attention. I'm anticipating, I'm watching and waiting for you to make your move. Got me on the top. 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 Got me on the top.
I don't normally resolve it like that. Nice. I'm pretending there's someone clapping. Yay! Thank you. More questions. Wow, we have over 2,000 people tuned in. This is awesome. Okay, from Alexa Vargas. Do you have any favorite spots in the cities you've toured, such as places to eat, shop, explore? If so, what are they? First thing that comes to my mind is Luminati's Pizza in Chicago. Chicago's got great food. I remember once we had alligator hot dogs. And they have really good comic shops. So Chicago's one of my favorite places to go. We actually added some more acoustic dates, and we're going back there in June. So definitely go to imlights.com/tour and come. Also, Toronto, that's where I live. Sneaky D's, one of my favorite places. In fact, they've named a plate of nachos after me, after Cactus in the Valley, and it's really good. So if you're ever in Toronto, go to Sneaky D's and get a Caesar, which is like a Bloody Mary, but the Canadian kind, and a plate of Cactus in the Valley nachos. That just sounded like an advertisement, but it's actually really good. It's the best. And they do shows and stuff there. So Sneaky D's in Toronto is another one. This is a good question. Sarah C., what were you like as a teen? Ooh. Well, I don't think any of us really look back and think that we were really cool when we were a teen, because I definitely wasn't. I knew what I liked. I had the attic of my house, and I painted it all these weird colors. My dad thought it looked like a nursery. And just set up a little studio in there and just always made music. I had this little BR8, a little 8-track to zip disc, and would pump out like 13 songs a month, you know? And didn't really do anything else. I had a few friends, but there were a lot of people that didn't like me. Not because I was mean, but I think just people love to not like people. That's how life is. So if someone doesn't like you, it has nothing to do with you, just so you know. So I was really dedicated to the things I liked, and I got really good marks. I was kind of a bit of a keener in that area, but I went home, just made music, and had a good time. So I made my own fun, and I snowboarded a lot, and then I was in a bunch of metal bands during a slightly rebellious phase, and it was really great. Shovel Face was the band. Good times. And I think that our singer was doing the crab course dances before anyone else was, to be honest. He was into martial arts, so he emulated that on stage. It was interesting. We had a song called Kill Everyone You Know. Music's changed a little bit since then. Mine. All right, here's another question from Frank. What current artists have you been listening to? Any recommendations? Here's one if you haven't heard of Com Truise, which is like Tom Cruise but different. Com Truise. Instrumental, kind of down-tempo, heavy electronic. I really enjoy listening to it with the window down and just drive. It's really good, so check that out. My Adam from my band plays keyboard and bass in my band. He turned me on to the Foles' new record, which is really good. Holy Fire. Good record. It's a couple of them. Oh, and on this huge Patti Smith kick. Very, beautiful poet. She's a big role model of mine as well. Andrew, are you currently writing new songs? What's your process like? Where do you get ideas? Does music or lyrics usually come first? That's so many questions in one question. Are you currently writing new songs? Yes. Yes. But you know what? I'm waiting to find out what it is that I want to write and the new sound and the new place. And you can't just force that out, you know? I've written probably about 30 new songs, and I don't know if any of them are going to see the light of day. state of the music industry. But it's not because I want to put them out and they won't. It's just you got to like work the muscle and get through all the bad stuff before you find the good stuff. So, yes, to answer your question, I am writing new songs, but I'm still waiting for that discovery of what the next thing's going to be. What's your process like? Usually has a lot of involvement with sounds and electronic sounds and interesting elements that I kind of piece together. Kevin and I were talking the other day about, because he writes orchestra arrangements sometimes, and I was like, oh, I could never do that. And he did liken it to the same thing. I mean, I sit there and think about all these parts in my head that I can picture and the textures, and then you just find them. And the only difference is with an orchestra arrangement is that you're dealing with instruments that already exist, and then you have to know the textures of those instruments in order to place them into the right shelves and make them do the right parts. And you just envision it all in your head. It's sort of the same thing. So that is a big part of it, is all the sounds that go into creating the feel of a song. And yeah, there's more questions in that, but there's another one. Audrey, what influenced you to dye your hair blonde? That's a good question. I don't really know. Sometimes you just gotta do something that throws everybody off, right? Throws yourself off. You gotta keep yourself challenged. I wanted to change something, and I think everything you do ushers you into the next place, whether or not it's directly related to what you're waiting for, and everything matters. So I was ready for change. And the opposite color of dark brown is lightish brown, kind of. Is that true? Actually, the opposite of purple is yellow. Anyways, I don't really know what I'm talking about. But one of the big factors into changing my hair was I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and my mother is as well. My mother is actually the reason I like sci-fi and fantasy. And I was on the phone with her, and she's like, you should do the Daenerys Targaryen. And I'm like, okay. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I went for it. So to answer your question, I'm just going to blame it all on Game of Thrones. Have you ever been starstruck? Good question, Sal. Yes. Quite an embarrassing moment, actually. And I don't get starstruck by many people. People are people. But one artist that I've loved for years is Phil Collins. Big Phil Collins fan. I have a lot of his records and just admire a lot of his production and his songwriting. I think he's one of the greatest love songwriters in the world. Greatest songwriters in general. And I think that he's just been with me through it all. Like, one of the earliest songs I remember is In the Air Tonight. Awesome song. It's just so influential for me. And I remember meeting him a couple years ago. My manager, Gian Gameshi, has a show called Q. It's an awesome podcast. Definitely check it out. He has some great bands on it. And he had Phil Collins on it. And he knew how much of a Phil Collins fan I was, so he invited me over to watch the interview and then meet him afterwards. And I had all this stuff in mind that I was going to say. And I met him and bawled instantly. Just uncontrollably bawled. And I tried to tell him all these things that I wanted to say, and I couldn't say anything. I just sounded like just a fangirl. Oh, you're inspirational. Cry, tears, and I got a picture. And it was a great moment. But now I'm embarrassed forever. But it's okay, because it's Phil Collins. From Eric, what is your earliest music-related memory? I had plenty. When I was little, my dad, he was a musician, and he just loves music. I mean, he does music for fun. He has another job, but he always does it on the side, and it always reminds me that do it for fun, do it out of passion, because there's people that dream about it, you know, and he just loves it. And when we were growing up, he always bought us all these little things that allowed us to explore in that capacity. One of which was those little tape decks. Do you remember them? If you're my age, you'll remember them. They're little tape decks with a microphone attached to them. I think they're like Fisher Price or something. Do you remember those? They were great. And from a young age, we would I was like 2. I don't know. Probably don't remember that. I probably think I remember it, but it might have been a little later. But that little device, just singing and recording songs on it, and little nursery rhymes and memorizing poetry. That was part of the thing that my parents taught me to do when I was young, is memorize big, long chapters in poetry and have to recite them, which is, when I look back on it, probably very beneficial to what I do now, but realizations. That was one of my first memories, is that little tape deck and just enjoying so much singing into it. Oh, and those mics that had like fake reverb in them. Do you remember those?
Yeah. It's just the mic.
It was just like a hollow, big, fat mic that was usually like neon green. Oh, I miss those. I gotta get one of those. Okay, from Matthew, what is the best gift you ever received from a fan? I received some amazing things, and everything is so special. And I don't need people to give me gifts. That's not what I need. Actually, the most special things I get are letters. And when I have downtime on a plane or anything like that, I'll take the time to read these letters and then try to message people back if they leave their Twitter information or something like that. Because that's when you really see the effect of your music and the effect of your work. And, you know, when I first started doing music, the intentions were different. When I was a teenager, it was like, oh, I can be a musician. I can be famous. And instantly, as soon as I started getting my music out to people, everything changed. That wasn't the goal. It was to reach people and see things like that and to see a result like that. So those are honestly the best gifts I've gotten. But aside from that, in terms of material things, it's been some pretty crazy stuff. I've gotten swords and daggers and stars, a star named after me, and handcrafted clothes and lamps and photo books and a plot of land at one point. It was small, but it's the thought. Oh, I forgot about that plot of land, actually. I have to find that deed somewhere. From Vivian, what is your favorite lyric of all time? Oh. Probably something from Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2. Everything in there is golden. I have scaled these city walls only to be with you. That was probably the first line I remembering out of any song. So, yeah, that's a good one. From Lucas, how did you meet Adam Young from Owl City? MySpace. Well, technically meet. The definition of meet has changed with the rise of the internet. Technically, our first meeting was when we toured together in 2010. But we were communicating on MySpace before that, and we were fans of each other's pages. And it'd be like, hi, great tune, smiley face, comment, send. And then he invited me out on tour just after Fireflies was getting huge, and it was an awesome experience, and I'm super thankful. And that was actually the first time we met. So yeah. But yeah, meet does mean different things now. Any artists you'd like to collaborate with that you haven't yet? Kanye West. He's awesome. I'm a big Kanye West fan. Okay, we're going to do another song. What do we want to do? Oh, there's so many comments. Oh, I can't read them. They're so fast. I can't even tell what people want me to play, so I'm just going to think of something. What do you want to play, Kevin?
Flux and Flow.
Flux and Flow? Yeah. All right, let's do Flux and Flow. This is actually one of the songs that was the hardest to transfer from full version to acoustic. It's one of my favorite ones to play with the full band because it's so energetic and deep, and there's like heavy bass and heavy beats. But when I first started doing this acoustically, it was not good. I thought, how? And I was trying to play it with the same emphasis and dynamics as the original, and it just wasn't working. So it took me a few different versions to get this one right. And suddenly, actually, one of the big factors that made it right was Kevin. Kevin did all the string arrangements on Siberia Acoustic. And at the end, he does this really amazing looping thing, so you'll hear it. It's pretty cool.
Guess I lost this road. The mountains have come down. I won't go where they go. No, I'll be back around. The heads above the trees. The storm at our knees. Come all the tides and souls will stand above the sea. Highs and lows. and lands on the ground that you stand. So flux and flow, oh, flux and flow, oh, flux and flow, oh, flux and flow, oh. We'd say stop it and hunger life again. We'd take another turn with the bad hand. Highs and lows, there are pits and lands on the ground that you stand. Flux and flow, and you fix your plans, then you trade in your head. So flux and flow, oh, flux and flow, oh, flux and flow, oh, flux and flow, flow, flux, flow, flux, flow, flux, flow it. There are pits and lands on the ground that you stand. Flux, and you fix your plans, then you trade your hand. You trade your hand. You trade your hand. You trade your hand.
Nice. I love it. Good job. That sounded really nice.
Nice job.
Not bad. Not bad. Excellent. What time is it? Time's flying. Speaking of Siberia Acoustic, hopefully you've checked it out. I'm actually going to be next week on the 22nd. I'm going to be live chatting on my Twitter. Live chatting, like playing the album. So you press play with me, and then we talk about the album as it's playing. So it'll be like a big listening session, but I'll talk about it on Twitter. So definitely tune in to that. I think it's at 8 Eastern time on the 22nd. Put it in your notebooks. From Stephanie, what have you noticed about the differences in fans from different countries? How are fans from the US different from Canada, different from Brazil? Well, Brazil I can't speak for because I haven't been there, and I would love to. I've seen some Brazilian fans tweeting me, and I really do wish I could go down there. Someday, and I'll be able to tell you, Stephanie, what the difference is. But for now, there isn't much of a difference. I think the interesting thing about what I notice of my fan base and the people that are coming to shows is that it's a real mixed bag of people. And I think I don't write music that is intended for a specific person or a specific age or a specific part of your life. I just write what I think is cool and what I like, and I don't try to make it sound like anything. So I think people find it in different ways and relate to it in different ways. And as a result, the people that come are pretty vast and varied, and I really like it. So in terms of that, like everyone's different in every city, even within a country. It's really cool. From Corey, what would you want to do if you didn't play music professionally? There's so many things, and I probably still will explore different areas of my life as it goes on, because I think that they're are 1,000 things that any person can do, whether or not they're talented in one area. I think you can be talented in more than one. And I probably will someday. Maybe I'll be a tattoo artist. I'm actually learning how to tattoo. Or computer programming has been something that I've been teaching myself along the way as well, taking courses while I'm on tour to understand that. Or art. Art's another one. I paint a lot and I actually release painting sometimes. So that's a possibility as well. If I never got into music, the trajectory I was on was law school, actually, believe it or not. And I had scholarships and things, but something else happened. And I didn't do that. From Denny, what is your favorite tattoo and will you be getting more? I don't think I really have a favorite. Well, I suppose the one I got on my wedding day. Right there. It's that angle. It was at our reception, actually, that we got these tattoos matching, and we tattooed each other. That would probably be my favorite, but everything else has a very specific meaning, and yes, I'll be getting more. For the rest of my life, I'll be getting more tattoos. It's just a matter of keeping myself slow so that I have space on my body when I'm 80 and still want tattoos. From Nicole, what do you like to do on tour when you're not playing music? Oh, I got asked that one already. Mostly work on other things or video games, usually. Weirdest fan experience. I think there's been some weird ones, and I probably shouldn't talk about it. Interesting, I should say. I don't think that my fans have done anything weird. Like, everyone's so passionate and really cool, and people have showed up in other countries before to a show, and it's always this shock and a surprise and really exciting. And I always just appreciate that people are supporting that much, you know? So I don't think it's that weird. All right, we're going to do another song. Do you want to do Suspension?
Yeah.
We're going to do Suspension. When I wrote this song, I was full on trying to create a soundtrack for this book of art that I had by Clyde Caldwell, and he does like this kind of dark sci-fi art with like girls in bikinis with big machine guns and dragons and stuff. And when I play the acoustic version, you'll not envision that, but that's what I was looking at this art when I was creating a lot of Siberia, and just that was inspiring so many ideas for me in terms of the ambience that you want a song to achieve. So to convert this into a gentle, in the pocket, beautiful acoustic song was totally fun. Here's Suspension.
Somewhere we go to kill our while a moment continuing for miles. Stars way overhead, you're everywhere. Don't need anything this much. Soul shade on a thread stranded in air. When you get too far to touch, I'm a ship sailing and the seas are rough. I'm a satellite in the space above. When I'm holding here, where I'm hanging up, I'm in suspension. You're not close enough. 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 You're not. Then comes the sun, the solar flare. In the suspension, find me there. Lift my spirit high when you come here, and I'm under you. The sky feeling I get when you're near. I give up gravity to feel. I'm a ship sailing, and the seas are rough. I'm a satellite in the space above. When I'm holding here, where I'm headed close enough, you're not close enough, you're not close enough, you're not. I'm sailing, seas are rough, satellite in the space above, holding, hanging up, suspension. I'm not close enough. I'm a ship sailing and the seas are rough. I'm a satellite in the space above. When I'm holding here, where I'm hanging up, I'm in suspension. You're not close enough. You're not close enough. You're not close enough. You're not close enough. You're not. You're not close enough, you're not close enough, you're not close enough, you're not.
Nice. That's good. It's kind of funny, like, doing streams like this. You're used to, like, clapping after it, and then there's none. You're just in a room. But I know I see he's clapping. There you go. Friendly people now are clapping. He clapped on his chest, though, because he's holding a camera. All right. Great question from Dylan Dean Archer. When the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm flying to Canada to be on your team. Just a heads up. That's a good choice. Although, I don't know if you read World War Z, but the cold climates were dangerous. Iceland ended up being taken over because the zombies just froze. And then when summer came, even after the zombie war was over, they would just unfreeze and just attack people again. So if you go too far north in Canada, you might run into that problem. Just let you know. But yeah, I've got a bunch of weaponry, so we'll be all right. I really do. And I'm looking into ways to sharpen even the replica ones. Although I was researching katanas, samurai swords, and apparently they're actually really useless if you don't know how to use them, which I'll probably have to eventually study or practice. But for now, I'll watch Michonne on Walking Dead and learn. From Curtis. Kevin, can you do a little solo on the cello?
What?
Can you do a cello solo? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Can you play Stairway to Heaven or something?
No.
How about like,
No, don't.
what's the one everyone does?
I don't know. Tell me. What does everybody do?
I don't know, what is everyone playing together? Stairway to Heaven, if you ever watched Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no, Wayne's World.
No.
Do like a little run.
I'll do like a little.
Do the one you do when you tune up.
So now I'm using
Yeah.
the loop.
That is how it's done.
Yeah, fade it.
Whoa! I just want to write onto that.
I know.
That's good.
I
Clap for
know.
Kevin. There you go. That was for you, Curtis. That was cool.
So
like
I can
that. What do you call that one?
So I can do Wayne's World. Or something. I'd have to go home and practice that or something.
Wayne's World.
I don't know.
Party time. Alan, what is your favorite TV shows? Right now it's Game of Thrones because Walking Dead is not on. But yeah, it's between those two shows. I can't watch TV shows on schedule, so I usually have to watch later online. And that is what I end up doing. There are a million shows I want to watch, but I need to make time for it. From Blake. Kevin, what's your favorite thing about lights? Did you see that one coming?
No, I'm trying not to look.
Blake, you're putting Kevin on the spot. Say nice things.
Very quick to smile, which I appreciate. Positive energy, which was mentioned earlier, for sure.
Well,
First thing I noticed when you walked into the studio when we first met, I could immediately tell the energy that you brought into the room.
we had a really fun time in our first session.
I think we have a similar, not to say I'm the same, but
No.
we have a similar kind of positive energy that
We
we
do.
can see in each other. I
We
think.
get along really well on tour, actually. I wish Kevin could just... Can you make that thing electronic?
I know, I gotta work on that.
No, our first day in the studio together was really cool. I think other musicians respect when other musicians know what they want to hear, and when someone can actually make that happen and put input in and then take input. That's another huge recommendation for those who want to get into music or into anything in industry. Know the difference between being confident in your craft and taking constructive criticism. That was something that took a while for me to get a hold of, I think. But taking input from other people is awesome, and it's great, and it's the best thing about getting better, and the only way you're going to get better. So keep that in mind. High five.
High five for that.
Yeah. From Anthony Emmerling. Strange things can cause inspiration. What would you say is your most interesting or strangest source of inspiration? I'm video games probably. I like the idea of being taken away, whisked away to another world for a little while. Music is a cheap escape, and that's the beauty of video games too. That's why I play. And music is very influential in video games as well, especially Final Fantasy and things like that, where it really plays into the whole storyline and the whole vibe. So that was probably one of the most unlikely inspirations is video games. If you could create a new race for World of Warcraft, what would it be like and what would it be called? I think they've done everything, to be honest. They've thought of things I can't even think of. Blizzard's amazing. But I suppose I would do they did a mermaid thing. They've done everything. Everything I can think of they've done. Panda people. Oh, they've done it.
Curd thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They could introduce cheese curds. For all I know, they probably have. They just have thought of everything. World of Warcraft is such an intense world and so all-encompassing. That's why it's easy to get lost in it. It's got a bit of everything. I do love them. From Amanda. What are you looking most forward to in the next few months? Finding out what it is I want to make my next record sound like. It's honestly the best, most exciting thing when you discover it, but the moments leading up to that are so painful. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm really looking forward to when that comes. But that being said, there's a bunch of really cool shows coming up. Lots of cool festivals this summer and more acoustic dates that are added. So that's something that I'm obviously looking forward to as well. And I think I'm going to... I have time to do one more song and let you know. Remind you about the tweet thing. So listen to Siberia Acoustic with me next week. It's going to be really cool. It's my first day back home. And we're going to hang out and talk about the album and listen to it. And check imlights.com/tour for tour dates and shows. We just keep adding new ones. I keep getting a new email every week that says, another show added. So come and hang out. And we're going to do another song. And thank you guys so much. I'm going to have to answer one more question before I do this, because I think we still have 10 minutes. From David, what was one of the most memorable moments in making Siberia Acoustic? It was such a fun project. It was spread over the beginning of last summer to the end of last summer. And we kind of wrapped it up earlier at the beginning of this year. And it was just when I had the inspiration, when I had a few moments, I would go into this really nice studio in Toronto called Revolution and just pour it out. And a lot of the best arrangement ideas came when I was insanely jet lagged. And I felt really bad because I was just laying up till the sun came up thinking. And that's a terrible thing to do, just lay in bed and think. But luckily I filled my mind with ideas and arrangements for the album. So going into the studio to make those things happen when you're barely able to stay awake is totally otherworldly. Peace Sign, namely. Peace Sign and Heavy Rope. The humming arrangements and all that stuff was totally preconceived before I even attempted recording the song. So that ended up being the first song that I recorded. And Peace Sign, I was so messed up the day that I did those vocals. And it was kind of the first day I discovered the intimacy of those vocals. And I was just sitting on the ground, about to pass out, and sang the lyrics and couldn't believe that it came out so smoothly. After which point, I had Beatrice of Cour des Pirates come, and we did sort of an email transaction, and then she translated a verse and chorus and then sang in French. 2 of the collaborations were done online, and the only one that was in studio was Max Markels came in, and we did Siberia live off the floor. It was a total blast. And I think that's the beauty of music, is being able to do that kind of thing and have that rapport with friends that are also respected and talented, that you're such a fan of, and you can bring them into your project. And we had a good time. So, yeah, it was a good time. Let's do another song. What are you feeling? Toes. Didn't we do that?
Did we do it?
Yeah, we did do Toes. Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah. I've lost track of what we already did.
Heavy Rope or
We could do
Sign?
that.
You mentioned those 2.
Oh, yeah, let's do that one.
You sign up.
Good. That's a good one, Kevin. Let's do that one. 4, 5, 6, 7. I do that up here. Oh, yeah, I'm giving away my capo secrets. I capo everything. And that goes back to what I was telling you regarding not really knowing what I'm doing. I just put the capo around till I find something cool. But then it allows me to play from my heart. Right, guys? Okay.
If they take my hand, will it be to burn me or to stay amen? We beckon so we can make amends, and with the same flip of the hand we curse our friends. And where it's all a blur, you are the hard line. In the disorder, you are the peace sign. It's getting hard to know if I'm on the tracks or off the beaten road, when no truth ever easily shows. So I'll follow you no matter where you go. And where it's all a blur, you are the hard line. In the disorder, you are the peace sign. And when the riots stir, you are the sound mind. And in the disorder, you are the peace sign. I can't tell if they're laughing at me or with me. All these hints and subtleties got me on my knees, begging for serenity. And where it's all a blur, you are the hard line. In the disorder, you are the peace sign. And when the riots stir, you are the sound mind. And in the disorder, you are the peace sign. And where it's all a blur, you are the hard line. And in the disorder, you are the peace sign. And in the disorder, you are the peace sign. And in the disorder, you are the peace sign.
Thank you.